Welcome back to Legends in the Making. This isn't just another sports podcast. Quite honestly, this isn't any other podcast. This is where we dismantle the lies, expose the culture, and rebuild the standards. Today, here we're hitting one of the hardest truths in sports. Athletes are being trained to be game ready, but not life ready. They're chasing stats, clout, and NIL deals. But when the lights go out, most don't even know who they are without the jersey. How many scholarships get wasted? NIL deals implode or careers derail, not because of talent, but because of character, identity, and integrity. That's what we're diving into today. This episode isn't about how fast you run or how much you lift. It's about the foundation that outlasts all of it. And it's amazing as I've really embarked on this journey with Blueprint to Bluechip, just really the underbelly of athletics. We see the glory. Most of us just see what's out there, whether it's game day and it's on TV, it's the highlight reels on Sports Center, or it's on the highlight reels on social media. But most of us do not understand, the number of people coming in and out of these leagues and through these programs at any one time. Here's a reality check. 78% of pro athletes face financial distress or bankruptcy within 3 years of retiring. We think wow, these people have made it. They were in professional sports. They had these lucrative contracts. 78% financial distress. And most of them don't even make it 3 years. The average statistic is it's less than 3 years in the NFL, right around the same for the NBA. But these are not long-lasting careers. So when you think about somebody's entering the league at 21, 22 years old, and 3 years in, by 25, who are you? What are you doing? Do you even know? You've spent so much time building your craft that you've lost who you are. 60% of college athletes struggle with identity loss when their career ends. And that's not even just college athletes. That's even Olympic athletes. When you're not an Olympian, what then do you do? Mental health issues set in, drug, alcohol, because you have lost everything that you thought you knew to be true about you is no longer there. And so we have such a pandemic and problem, and where we can use youth athletics not as a meal ticket, not as we're going to hit a home run and that's going to be the money I make, but really serving as the foundation of building who you are. And that's what and why Blueprint to Bluechip was created, is to build the foundation that lasts long after the athletic career. And I think athletics gives you some of the most incredible, amazing life lessons around teamwork, about your own individual work, around receiving feedback and growth. And so everybody should participate in sports at some point in their life because the lessons are invaluable. But are we using athletics not to craft an identity, but to craft the human being that's behind that identity? Are we using them to grow the human being and to grow that human soul so their legacy ripples for time and eternity through their actions and their leadership? We also have, NIL chaos, money pouring in with zero training on discipline or integrity. There is so much noise, and I've seen it all. I've seen parents wanting deals for their kids. Your kid isn't your meal ticket. Does your kid want to be posting and being a brand ambassador and representing a brand? Or are you forcing them to do it? Everything that we have to do and have done through us has to be our own free will. And so if we're doing things for our kids, living vicariously through our kids, making our kids' dreams like our dreams, we've completely lost it. We are here as parents to guide our children, not to use them, not to live vicariously through them, and certainly not to use them to make money. Like, what are we teaching our kids? We should be teaching them about who they are, about what makes them so incredible as a unique individual, and not just tie that to sports. I love you if you get a touchdown. I love you if you hit the home run, whatever the case might be. And I see it all the time. We have to get ourselves in check. This is about their growth and development as parents and even as coaches. And coaches are so overwhelmed with everything that they have going on that they can't possibly keep track of everything that needs to be worked on. And so you've got to invest in the wholeness of your child, not just in making them bigger, faster, stronger, because at some point that investment runs out. It just does. They're not going to play that sport forever. And what is that sport giving to them? And if they don't have the foundation of character, who they are, the identity and the integrity to show up in that character day in and day out, and to learn from their mistakes, and the discipline to put into place in order to show up consistently. That's what your children need investment in. That's what your athletes need investment in, not just how great they are at their athletic prowess. Most of that is God-given, can be slightly tweaked, but quite honestly, you should be focusing on the whole of your kid and how athletics is one piece of that performance. So game day is easy. It's the 20 hours outside the game that quite honestly breaks the athletes. And so that's just something that we really have to look at. So I want to go deeper. And I got a letter from an athlete. So let's read it. It says, "Dear Legends, I've been an athlete my entire life. On the field, I'm confident. People call me a leader, but off the field, I feel lost. Everyone expects me to have it together, but when the game is over, I don't know who I am. I've got the stats, I've got the followers, I've even landed an NIL deal, but none of it fills me up. Sometimes I wonder if I'm just performing for applause, not living with purpose. I don't want to admit this to my team or family because I don't want to look weak. Am I the only one that feels this way? And how do I fix it before it's too late? Signed, number 10, but feeling empty." First and foremost, number 10, you're not alone. Thousands of athletes feel this way, but they never say it out loud. And the only time they say it out loud is once they've probably hit rock bottom, gone through the trials and tribulations, and now want to help other people not have the same feeling and making the same mistake. And we as a society don't even think, we don't think very long term. We think very in the moment, which ultimately is fine. But I also think there's something about discernment and understanding what's the long term consequences of our short term decisions. And we don't think about what are we costing our children and our youth athletes when we essentially have children maxing out their earning potential before they're 21. Do we think about the mental health ramifications? Do we think about what things that they'll turn to, because we've tied so much of our identity in our society to wealth, to how much we make, who we are, when quite honestly, none of that's true and none of that's important, but nobody talks about that. Nobody is coaching to that. So ultimately, performance can't carry your identity. Your stats are going to fade. At some point, those stats don't even mean anything. Deals end, contracts end. If your worth is tied to that applause, you're going to feel it empty when it stops. That's just the sad reality. How can you use it in the moment when you have it as a tool for learning? How do you use your platform to be in your purpose and share, not just to make money? If we do things for the wrong reasons, ultimately, yeah, we may have some short-term success, but ultimately we will not have long-term gains. Your identity isn't earned. It is remembered. You were given your identity of who you were, what you came here to be at birth. You were given to that by God. And it's way more than the game or the sport that you're playing. And that's why Blueprint to Bluechip exists, to move athletes from fragile performers to unshakable leaders. So thank you. I applaud you, number 10, for having the courage to connect with me and share where you're at. And we want to help you. We want to turn the way that you feel into confidence and legacy that far outlasts the game. So if that resonates with you, DM reset to me, DM me, visit blueprintedbluechip.com. Don't wait until you are at rock bottom. Don't wait. Do it now. Get the tools or resources that you need in order to be successful now, on and off the field. And so, let's just have a reality check right now. Culture creates clout, contracts, crowds, but culture isn't building character. Culture isn't telling you how to be a stand-up citizen. It's just having you chase the fame, which, if we ultimately look at it, is very ego-driven. And that's why so many success stories collapse, because you're working from the wrong space. You're chasing the wrong things. So even Jesus, before miracles and crowds, went into solitude. He knew identity before performance. If the Son of God built his foundation in truth before stepping into power, why do we think athletes can survive on stats and applause alone? Without alignment to the truth of who you are, the truth of who we are as a collective society, everything else becomes a trap. And when we don't know the truth of who we are, we don't stand in our purpose and serve. And we are here to serve. So just to be very clear, the Blueprint system, it's not about hype. It's not about hacks. It's about truly anchoring in who you are. What is your character? How do you then act from that character time and time and time again through integrity and discipline? And this is through private coaching, private transformation that is completely tailored to you and your family, or even to your team. This is about raising the standard. This is about raising athletes to become leaders, to have a ripple effect and go out and to do the world. What if you had 60 football players that went out and every one of them, you were like, that kid spent time with me, and look at what they're doing now. Look at the impact they're having on the world. We love transformations. It is so important that we deliver a transformation to you. This isn't, we're trying to sell you a program or system. We're not selling hype. We are selling who we are. There are no shortcuts. And within this process and within this system, we are helping people anchor in and become disciplined so that they can lead not only in their homes, but in their communities. And it makes a huge difference. And we work from high school athletes all the way up to pro level athletes. It doesn't matter. A human is a human. You're going to have different pressures, different stressors. Absolutely. But the work is the same. And we don't want to build athletes that are just ready for the games. We want to build leaders for life. So just a quick recap as we wrap this up. The problem isn't talent. The problem is what happens when the jersey comes off or before the jersey is put on. Culture, look at our culture. I don't think I need to say too much. If we don't take control, we are going to produce people, children, leaders that we are not proud of. And that's our responsibility as the leaders in our society, is to raise a generation greater than us. And it's pretty sad to say, when I think of like things I've heard of, the greatest generation, we haven't heard that since the 40s. It's almost 100 years later. We're closer to 2040 than we are 1940. Are we willing to raise the next greatest generation that's willing to step up, that's willing to be leaders, and that's willing to serve? So stop chasing the fads, stop chasing the money, stop chasing the NIL deals, and start chasing your legacy. Start chasing who God intended you to be, so that you can serve the world with the God-given talents that he gave you that far exceed the athletic field. So DM me Reset, visit blueprint2bluechip.com. It's never too late. Legacy requires intention, and it starts now. This isn't motivation. This is a movement. Thank you for tuning in to Legends in the Making.